Welcome to the Hot Butter Podcast.
Welcome to Hot Butter Podcast. I believe this is episode 12. Can you believe we've done it already?
I can't believe it. It's actually kind of crazy.
Pinche loco. I am one host for the evening. My name is Brett. With us today we have...
Eric,
Hi, Eric. How you doing?
what's up, buddy?
You'll listeners who've listened to some podcasts in the past will realize that Adam's not with us today. Adam has chosen to not participate in the podcast, not for any particular reason of displeasure with the podcast. I believe he really thoroughly enjoyed it. We enjoyed having him here, but he has chosen to not participate for professional reasons, and we respect that. We love
Yes.
him. I don't have a choice. He's my brother.
I do, and I still love him.
All right. Well, as usual, we have a Facebook page which you can follow us on. We have a website, a beautiful website that I created by myself, and it looks pretty amateur hour, but it's not bad, I suppose. It's hotbutterpodcast.com. We have an email where you could interact with the show. It's show@hotbutterpodcast.com. I have a Twitter. It is at Brett Postal. Also have an Instagram, which is at Brett_Postal. And I think Eric's got some stuff too over there.
Yeah, Twitter at ER1KHA11. Instagram, same handle. Just trying to be really cool and creative, man. That's how I came up with
Yeah,
that.
dog.
It is cool. I'm creative.
Well, it's
special.
working.
I'm unique. I'm number
You
one.
got it going on, brother. You got it going
Oh,
on.
yeah.
Little update for everybody. I am doing this podcast from the luxurious hotel room in Houma, Louisiana.
Man, Louisiana.
That is,
I bet
it's
that's
cold, man.
It's cold. How many layers did you have to wear today? Because I can tell you how many layers I had to wear today.
Well, I will tell you this. I knew it was going to be cold, but I forgot what it was like to be outside all day when it's chilly. It was 38 when I landed, and a really pretty stiff breeze, and supposed to be down in the 20s tonight here.
Wow, really?
Yeah, it's pretty nipply.
Is that out of season for them? I don't know. I mean,
Yes,
you live there.
this is apparently it's incredibly unusual.
Yeah, it's cold here. It's supposed to be in the 50s this weekend, I guess here, but today was.
Oh, shirts off.
Oh, I'll probably take my shirt off. Yesterday and today were very cold. Little
Yeah, I
snow.
saw that
Little
today.
snow on the ground, but it was definitely a sweatshirt underneath the winter jacket, gloves, and a hat type thing, and walk a little quicker from your car to the workplace kind of day. You know.
I always save Clarkston in my my weather destinations because I
Yeah.
love to see what the weather is there in comparison to wherever I'm at. And I just happened to flip past it, and at the time that I did this, about an hour or so ago, it was only 15 degrees.
You know what I think? I don't know. I hate the cold. I don't hate the cold, but I don't necessarily mind it. I mean, it's I have to deal with it, so I might as well find some enjoyment out of it. But usually in the beginning of winter, or when it first starts getting cold, or it first snows, at least for a few weeks, I kind of get this like, I don't know, it's a weird, relaxing, kind of comforting feeling that I get from a snowfall or from snow. I mean, last night I had to bring in our patio furniture from the deck, which was supposed to be done
That's depressing.
by yesterday, and I am the
Oh.
king of procrastinators. So by procrastinating until yesterday, now my patio furniture was covered with some snow, and I had to broom it all off and get an ice scraper and get the chairs all broomed off, bring them down to the basement on a sheet so they would melt the snow onto the sheet. But I was standing out there doing it, and there's just something peaceful about like a cold evening when it's snowing. I don't know how to explain it. Maybe some people who haven't experienced it might not get it. You probably do. You were in Michigan forever. It's just something.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just it's different. It's kind of weird. But
That-
after like a month or two, you're like, fuck this. But
Well, honestly, that translates the same to down in Florida. The first night, I'm sorry, I was going to say the second it happens, but the first night that we actually have a cold front push through, and I step outside and I can smell that someone has started their fireplace,
Yeah.
I instantly get nostalgic. And apparently this is going to be a sentimental, sappy episode. I'm not really sure what's happening here. We're getting really emotional. I feel like I'm going to cry.
Are these tears, or I don't really know?
Good heavens.
What is this watery stuff coming out of my face?
Goodness gracious. So if anybody doesn't follow us on Twitter, Eric was just telling me, hey man, I'm going to be ready in just a minute here. I just put my daughter down. I'm just taking a pre-game poop. And I said, well, son of a bitch, so am I. And so I sent him a little photograph of myself on the throne. And then I tweeted that we were perhaps the Siegfried and Roy of podcasting. And I don't know which one of us is which, but that's a fine title.
I'll take that. And I kind of feel honored. I don't have any white tigers floating around, but
yeah, didn't the tiger bite one of them or attack one of them or maybe eat one of them?
Yeah, I mean, at some point it's like I don't care how nice the tigers are to you and vice versa. They're a tiger, and you're a human.
That's right.
And at some point, they just want to eat. You know, they have that in their instincts, and I don't care. Any animal story, wild animal as a pet story, always ends with he was always so nice, and then he became an animal.
He acted like a tiger, and the son of a bitch bit my face off.
I couldn't believe it. I mean, after everything I've done for that tiger, he does this to me.
I know. I've kept him in a cage his whole life. How dare he?
I kept him out of his natural habitat for his entire life, and this is how he repays me? He bites me?
That bastard. That white tigered striped bastard.
Oh yeah. No, it's yeah.
So what have you been up to these last couple days?
Trying to stay warm. I was sick on Sunday. That was an ordeal. That kind of hit me out of nowhere. One of those little 24, 36-hour things. I kind of halfway through Monday, I started picking the pace back up. Honestly, after I had some chicken noodle soup. Usually when I get sick, I just start blasting vitamin C and D and all that. I just start going. I just throw it all in there, making a stew of vitamins in my body and letting it go where it goes. That's kind of how I always combat it.
And you can't forget, I'm pretty sure you're an essential oils guy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, those were out in full force.
Yep. We do that in our home as well.
Yeah, I mean, I do anything that even gives a slight bit of relief, I'll take it, man. And if it's a natural thing, especially like oils, I mean, I always take a skeptical mind to a lot of things. But I'm always pro, alternatives. And that's what that stuff is. And some things it works well for me, and some things it doesn't. But there's things that it works great for. That there's like the thieves spray that my wife uses. I spray that in my throat when I get a sore throat. Thing is gone like the next day. It's great. So I'm just spraying that
Isn't
stuff
that amazing?
everywhere. I think she gave me some like I don't know, some kind of immune boost pills that they have, and I was taking vitamins and Sambuca, elderberry, all that stuff. I was getting wild and crazy.
Oh yeah,
I felt like shit. And then Monday I had some chicken noodle soup for lunch, and I was kind of back in the saddle.
It's funny. I consider myself, and I've always considered myself a very traditional, like a traditionalist.
Yeah.
For the most part, and I think that has a lot to do with how I was raised, where I was raised, and the family that I came from. For the most part, was very traditional and conservative. Once I ventured outside of that comfort zone that we call Clarkston, you of course you get into other things, and my wife has opened my eyes to being more open to suggestion. And so when you first approach somebody with the theory that some essential oils are going to make them feel better, you're like, shut up, come on.
Oh yeah.
Let me fight it off naturally, whatever.
Right.
I've never been one to get sick a lot, so I always feel like I can just fight it off. But man, I tell you what, I am a firm believer in natural path remedies. I am totally on board with that these days.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I'd say I guess I kind of took the same path to being, I guess, a little bit more independent in thought. I don't know, even in high school, I never really had any I never subscribed to anything. nothing was really ever pushed in the house. It was, but
Sure.
nothing was ever pushed in one way or another. So I just was kind of neutral, which was nice. I kind of got to just be. I wouldn't have any external pressures to do certain things. But
Sure.
when I went to college, that's when you're on your own. And for 5 years that I was there, I picked up a whole bunch of things that I look at now after a couple years of being out that I kind of disagree with, even some of the things that I was adamant on in college. But that's kind of how it's supposed to work. So
Yeah.
That's kind of the way it's been for me. I don't oppose anything, but I kind of go into it skeptically. But yeah, the oils thing is I'm all about it too. My wife was all about it. I've showed her some things. She showed me some things, and that's kind of the cool thing. You got to be open to all that stuff. And yeah, naturopathic remedies are always a good go-to, and sometimes you got to go to the doctor. That's the case of it too. But I try to avoid that. Go other routes first.
Yeah, we do too. We're also big proponents, and I'm not sure about if you guys are or not, of chiropractic care.
Yeah, I just started going.
Yeah.
I just started going.
For anything in particular?
Well, Sammy started going because she slipped on the stairs carrying Harper and kind of landed on her hip. It's like I don't know. Actually, I think that's what kind of re-aggravated it. But she had it before, so not to embarrass her. I hope that doesn't. I'm not trying to. But that's
everybody falls. It's okay.
She was having I've fallen down the stairs. You know what? Remind me to tell you my falling down the stairs at Central story after this, and I'll redeem myself.
Oh, I
for
will.
Embarrassing her. She was having a hip problem because of it, and then she had Lincoln, and it was kind of gotten worse after she'd had the baby, and she was trying to find some kind of alternative route to getting it taken care of. And as far as I know, it's somewhat under control. She probably still has some pain with it, whatever. But she found a chiropractor that it was recommended to her by one of her coworkers at the salon, and she was going for a few weeks, right? Almost like 2 months. And finally, I was like, you know what? I'd like to go. I've always wanted to go to a chiropractor. I've always been interested in that side of, I guess physical medicine. Of some
Sure.
sort. So I didn't have any particular ailments, but I started going like every other Saturday just to get adjusted. And I did start feeling better. I did have some like numbness in my toes that she said was connected to some slight pain in my lower back. She's like, yeah, it's this to this, and this becomes this. And that's getting a little bit better. Like my big toes were numb for whatever reason for years. And then I pulled something. I did something like pinched a nerve and right underneath my to the left of my neck, under my where my shoulder blade is. And I was my first thought was, okay, chiropractor can loosen that up and take some tension out of there. I went there on a Friday, and I started to feel a little better on Sunday. It took a couple days after it kicked in, and then I went again Monday, and I'd say Tuesday I was feeling like nothing had happened. Which, if I would have gone to a regular doctor, the prescription would have been muscle relaxers and ice and heat, and that's not gonna fix what I did. I mean, like that's kind of how I go about it.
That's right.
They both have a place, and even though they hate each other, for some reason, they should be working together.
I know, that's ridiculous. I've never understood that. Things. Yeah.
So that's
I think the problem we have here now is that you have set us up for a Eric falls down the stairs story, yes. And I can't move on until I hear it.
Okay, so this is freshman year college. Yeah, because I went back. Yeah, okay, yeah, freshman year, Central Michigan University. I was living in Wheeler Hall. Wasn't living with your brother yet. He was a year ahead of me, so he was in the same towers. But hopefully anybody. I don't know if I even have told anybody this. So I don't know if anybody knows that this happened.
Oh, breaking! This is breaking news here, folks.
So hopefully some of my Central buddies listen to this and they'll know exactly where I'm talking about, where this happened. Okay, let me try to recollect this all. So I'm walking out of Ann Spa Hall, which I had sociology and psychology classes, so I basically lived in that building. Everybody will know that who's gone there. There were other buildings on there, but I saw maybe 4 of them. So I'm walking down. This is I'm just walking back from class, and the flight of stairs that I was walking down was pretty good sized set of stairs. And they were concrete. They weren't they were real wide, so you could have like two rows of people. Some people going up, some people going down.
Like how many boo-boos? How many honey boo-boos wide were they?
Oh man, 4?
10? 10 honey boo-boos?
No,
4 honey boo-boos wide.
6 honey boo-boos.
Okay, good. Now I got a firm grasp on the width of the stairwell.
It was like a major stairwell, so it was wider. It had a good amount of steps. It was a good flight. It wasn't like a 4-stepper. It was probably like a 20-stepper.
Yeah.
15, whatever. Thank God. I don't know if I got out of class early or what, but there was nobody around. Thank God there was nobody around because I just was walking. I had my backpack on, which is probably freshman year. You don't know yet what you can't or don't have to bring with you, so your backpack is just fucking full. You haven't got to the senior year yet where you're like, I just need this fucking notebook because I'm really just going to look at the notes later online. I mean, you get to so I had everything in my backpack, so I had a little weight on my back. I don't know if that's what caused this, but I'm walking. I maybe made it down 1 or 2 steps, and then I just fucking slipped or something, missed a step, overstepped. You know what I'm talking about, that overstep feeling?
Oh, yeah.
And there's no feeling comparable to knowing you missed a step, and there's your gut reaction is arms down or grab a rail. So you just probably look like an idiot. You're frantically reaching and bouncing. But I probably went down. Actually, I went the whole way down the stairs. So I was like 3/4 of the way up, and I went all the way down the fucking stairs.
Holy shit! You're lucky you didn't break your head open.
Oh, I don't know. I think I just bounced and probably you're trying to grab yourself, and you don't know who's watching, so you're kind of you're trying to play it cool still, even though there was nobody around. I was still trying to be cool.
Yeah.
When you get up, oh yeah. So that happened. That's pretty cool. You act like no big deal. Did you guys see that? How badass was that? Right? Where's the party tonight? But I didn't have to do that. And I remember walking back to my dorm, and I was just limping. I'm like, I cannot fucking believe that. But I'm so lucky.
You were still young and pliable at the time, so you were not injured terribly.
Bouncing on my tailbone. And I remember getting back to the dorm door, and I'm like, that's where you smoke cigarettes. And at the time, I did, so I stopped and I was smoking a cigarette. And I was it kind of looked like I was in pain. And I remember this girl from high school. I was like, I knew her. She knew me enough to say hi. And she was like, "What? What's going on?" And I just wanted to. Part of me wanted to just tell the story, but the other part of me was like, just. School, man, just learning, whatever. It's cool. How's it going? I'll try to be a tough guy, but the tailbone is just on fire. Man, I haven't thought about that story in a while, and I don't think anybody.
I don't think I've ever fallen downstairs or fallen upstairs. I mean, you miss a step here and there, but I've never really fallen. I think the last time I fell and really had to look around to see who saw me was. We were home for Christmas, and I'd run up to Starbucks, and I parked, and because the line was around the building for the drive-thru, so I parked and was going to walk in. No, I think I went to the hardware store behind it in Clarkston, and then I was walking through the snow, and when I came off the snow, I stepped on a patch of ice, and wiped out in the middle of the parking lot with a full drive-through and on my face. I didn't hit my face, but flat. And I just kind of nonchalantly pulled myself up, brushed off the snow that was on my pants, looked around at to try and find the culprit for such a heinous act, and kind of gave the stink eye to that slippery little puddle there that had frozen, and made my way back inside like nothing ever happened. But I know that whole drive-through line was probably cracking up.
What is it about? Because you knew nobody in that line. I guess in the back of your head, part of you is going, so did somebody I know?
I don't know. It's a pretty small town.
But no, you don't know anybody who sees you fall or do anything like that stupid. So it's weird that we still have that same embarrassed reaction. You'll never see those people, and you didn't even see who they were. So even if it's somebody you knew, I don't know. It's just kind of a weird thing. But yeah, falling sucks.
That's funny.
I'm sure I have more stories like that, but I can't think of them off the top of my head. I mean,
that's all right.
I've been walking my whole
life. So we always solicit listener interaction, emails, suggestions. People are welcome to talk shit to us if they want to complain about things. We're more than happy to engage that sort of correspondence. But I did get another email
Cool.
for us to read on this particular show, and it's from somebody that I know who they are, but I don't know that I've ever met them. But it is somebody that you know. I'm not going to use their name, but or use their name, but I'll read the email. So and then I'm going to throw out. I'll give my initial response to it, and then we'll kind of see what we have to say. So it says, "Do you guys have any guilty pleasure songs / bands? I know I have a few that I'd really love, or that I really have to think about. But off the top of my head, I know that sometimes, if I'm in the right mood, and nothing compares to You by Sinead O'Connor comes on, that's my jam. I still have no idea why, and I have zero familiarity with anything else she's done." Wow, that's a good one.
Real quick,
So-
let me throw this in there real quick. The reason he probably gets
Yeah.
down to Sinead O'Connor, he might even know this. Prince actually wrote that song. That's a Prince written song.
I did not know that.
And he performs it live. There are live renditions of it.
You're kidding me.
He's written a lot of songs. Manic Monday by the Bangles. Prince
Come on.
song wrote that, but he writes them under different names. They're not. You wouldn't be able to look up Prince in the credits to be under like Christopher. So that's my little tidbit. So even though Sinead O'Connor, the reason you're not familiar with any other stuff is because I don't know anything about
I don't
her
know.
either, but Prince,
I don't know anything about her either, except
Prince
she
hooked
like
her up. Prince is the man.
didn't
so,
she like rip up a picture of the Pope on the stage at Saturday Night Live or something?
Oh yeah, that might have been the end of her career. So sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt, but I figured I'd throw that.
No, that's okay. It helped me out because it helped me pick up my list of things that I wrote down. So I took that a little further, and so I actually wrote down the first 1, 2, 3, 4 songs that came to my head that are guilty pleasures. One from the 80s, one from the 90s, one from the 2000s, and then one from this year. And so I'll do one, and then Eric, if he's got one off the top of his head, he can do one, and then we'll just kind of go back and forth. But the first one is from the 80s, and it is by Heart, the band Heart, and it's These Dreams. You familiar with that song?
I'm not. You know what?
That's all right.
I'm not.
I will not sing it.
I'm not familiar
but
with
I
the
could.
title, but I probably know the song. If it's Heart, I know there's.
Yeah, what you'll end up doing when this podcast is over, you're going to look it up and go, "Oh, that is a good song."
Oh hell yeah!
But you know what's funny? I just realized I actually have 2 from the 80s. And so my second one from the 80s was from 1989, and I had to check that because I wasn't sure if it was an 80s or 90s song, but it's Roxette, The Look.
Oh hell yeah!
I can't not sing that.
Oh yeah.
So those are my 1980s off the top of my head guilty pleasures. What about you,
I'm
Slim?
trying to think if there's an '80s one I can think of.
There's so many great songs from the 80s that people don't like to. They're like, in my head, 80s songs are stereotypical karaoke perfection.
Okay, I got a couple here. I'll do this way. I'll first preface it by saying this: guilty pleasures musically to me, I take the Dave Grohl approach where he says, if it's cool and you like it, fucking listen to it. If you want to listen to Kesha, listen to Kesha. But at the same time, a lot of people probably, just if you have a taste in music, you always have that other side of if you like music, you'll hear songs that don't fit what you usually listen to or what looks like you might listen to. So I guess on that end, it's something that you escape and listen to, and we all have those. And if you feel guilty,
the ones that you roll the windows up at stoplights so people don't know that you're listening to it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I do that. But I'll tell you this. Okay, so I'll throw in 80s. I don't have exact titles written down, but I can kind of wing it. So for me, 80s hair metal would be the ultimate for me in the 80s, just in general. All those cheesy, just like high vocals, obnoxious guitar solos, ridiculous stage shows, ridiculous outfits, over the top everything. I just love that era. I don't know why. I just like that Sunset Strip era of rock and roll.
No, I agree 100%.
It's ridiculous, but I would say a few bands out of there. Obviously, Motley Crue was a favorite of mine. I still listen to them. They've kind of become something else.
Yeah, but is that really a guilty pleasure though?
No, I guess like if I were going to go 80s hair metal, the guilty pleasure might be like a Rat Round and Round. I guess if I was gonna say like a single, like that song comes on,
That's
I turn
a good
that
one.
fucker up.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't feel
No,
guilty
that's
about
good.
it. But maybe the one that I do kind of feel guilty about, I do. If a Hall and Oates song comes on, get the fuck out of here, man. I'm gonna just bob
Ooh.
my head. You know, like
Hall and Oates. Well
yeah.
done, sir. That would be. I would approve of that going into the guilty / pleasure.
yes. I mean, that's like
pile
something where you're
for
like,
sure.
yeah, I don't typically leave the windows down for that one. What's the song that
No.
I heard by them recently that I liked, or that kind of reminded me how cool they were?
Yeah.
Shit, I can't remember. I don't remember what it was. I cannot remember the title, but you know, anything they do, it's all so good. I think.
No, that's good. I would say Hall and Oates is definitely a guilty pleasure group for a lot of people.
Yeah, that'd be my 80s.
All right, so my 90s is Savage Garden.
Oh,
I Want You. And I don't know. I think I heard that. No, I know for a fact that I heard that song. Hold on a second. My fucking computer's making some weird fucking noises. So anyway, I know for a fact that that song was coming out and very popular during a time where we were on a family vacation in Florida, and I think some close friends of ours were also on vacation in Florida, and we were all hanging out together, shooting the shit, hanging out with all the kids together, and it immediately brings me back to pretty sure we were in Fort Myers or Naples at the time. So for some reason, that song takes me way back, and Savage Garden is definitely a guilty pleasure. They have a couple hits too that I know all the words to.
Oh yeah, I got it. Let me think about the 90s. I mean, I should have a ton of them because it's my era. That's when I grew up. I'm just trying to think of songs that we used to listen to. I mean, honestly, I remember being in somebody's garage listening to Ace of Base songs. I mean, those are pretty catchy.
Yeah.
Shit, man, because I was still kind of like, I guess, see, I didn't listen to anything in the 80s. All that stuff came like years later when I listened to it. So I don't remember like listening to a ton of stuff in the 90s being like, oh man, this is a guilty pleasure. I guess if I had to be nostalgic about it and think about it, what song would the 90s bring out? I really liked Smash Mouth in the 90s. I remember being
that's a good guilty pleasure because they catch a lot of shit these days.
Yeah, I mean, like that. I think it was like spelled out FUSH with some characters. I think it said like "Fuck You, Mang" was the title of that album. It had like, you know, I don't remember the name of the song on there.
You know what's funny is I have a hard time.
On the sun. You know, that's.
I have a really hard time distinguishing between early 2000s and late 90s.
Yeah.
So I'm not even sure when that came out. That could be late 90s, early 2000s. That was so damn long ago now that I can't even fucking remember. Because I was just looking at my next one, and I don't even think my next one's a 2000s. I think my next one's either a 99 when I was a senior, or an early 2000s. It's Christina Aguilera, "Genie in a Bottle."
Oh yeah, I remember watching TRL and all those songs would come on there, and it was like,
yeah,
I would just watch. I loved all that stuff. That's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Here's what I got. I got a 90s one for you. This is like 96, 97. This makes me think of dancing at school dances. I still think this is a great song. I don't care what he says. I gotta have to look the title up, but it's Usher. Oh shit. I gotta look
You've
it
said
up.
enough with Usher. Jesus Christ, the guy's in a fucking Cracker Jack box now or whatever.
I know. Hold on, see Usher.
See, listen, look at Eric. Mr. Heavy Metal, Mr. Deftones, Mr. Stray from the Path. He gets down to some Usher.
You know when he's like, make you want to leave the one you're with, start a new relationship with you, this is what you do. You know that song?
Nope, but that just made this whole podcast worth it.
Oh, man.
Holy
I'm
shit
finding
balls.
the title of that. I might have to reference that later, but...
That's all right. I'll give out my last one while you're looking that up, or while you're thinking for another one. So this one it's a song that's extremely popular, but I never heard it until my kid heard it, and then my daughter really liked it. It's Iggy Azalea, "Fancy."
Oh yeah, I mean that's.
And
sometimes the way she
thought maybe you hung up on me. I wasn't sure. You were silent for a second.
I don't hate Iggy Azalea.
I don't particularly care for her.
I guess
but,
what I think I don't like about her is like the act. I just feel like it's such a forced act that she's kind of got.
Yeah.
But the songs aren't that bad. I like when she features in a bunch of songs. That's how all that music works. Like if you're popular, you'll be on somebody else's song. But no, she's not. She's not terrible. But like I said, I feel like it's.
Yeah, but look at me. Okay, look at me. Really look at me.
I'm looking at you.
And then think about me in my white Prius with Iggy Azalea on pretty loud. Pretty loud. I mean, pretty loud. Loud enough that it's louder than my singing. And that's where you lose it. That's where you lose me right there. So those are my guilty pleasures.
I think that Usher song is called "You Make Me Wanna." So if anybody really wants to get that you can download that on Napster.
Download it on Napster. Does that even exist anymore?
I think on some level, I'm sure they're either incorporated with somebody else, but
MySpace owns it now.
Oh, fucking MySpace! I wouldn't be surprised, man. You try to log on, they're like, "Hey, man, to download this song, you need a 56K dial-up modem." So we don't do that high-speed shit.
So along the same vein, what do you think is like if someone were to steal your phone or wherever you keep your music, your digital music, if you even have it in your phone? I have no idea because I know you're a streaming guy.
I use Google Play, so there's a whole shitload of stuff on there.
Okay, so what do you think if someone were to steal it and were to go through all of your music, what do you think they would say is the wimpiest thing you have in your phone?
Hold on, I'm opening a beer with a pair of wire cutters. Thank you. I'm a man.
Well, that will redeem you for whatever you're about to say.
Yeah, I really was. I'm going to show you on the Skype video that's what they are. Can you see it?
No, I can't even see you.
What?
I can't see you, but you can see me. So I think mine would be Adele.
I've got one, but go ahead.
Mine's Adele.
Okay, mine would probably be like I've got a few of them. I got a few pussy rockers on there. You know what I mean? And not the good way, like rock the pussy. I'm talking like pussy rocking songs.
I like the way you say that.
I think. Do you know who? But they're so good though. I feel bad even like considering them negative. I can't think of her fucking name. I can tell you one right now. I have a lot of Bright Eyes on it. Do you know who Bright Eyes is? Connor Oberst.
No, I do not.
Kind of emo in the earlier days, like really sad acoustic stuff. But I just, I listened to it when I was in college, and it's still there. I still like to listen to it, but I still get down with that. That would probably be one of them. I do have on there Christina Perri. You know who Christina Perri is?
Yeah, but she's got one song that I know, and that's it. Is it Jar of Hearts? Does she sing that?
Yeah. She's got.
Yeah, that's the only song I know.
She's got a new album that came out that was pretty cool. I can't think of this other girl's name here. Oh, Imogen Heap. Do you know who Imogen Heap is?
Oh yeah. But I've
cool,
never listened to him.
But she's
never
listened
to that
thing,
before.
I'm just thinking like stuff that's like super like soft and mellow. That would not mix well with like I don't know, vulgar display of power. People would be like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
I've got a lot of stuff that's kind of mellow like that. I can tell you.
Well, what do you think? Go ahead.
This will work into something on there. I love John Mayer. With
that's right.
qualms about that. But that might be
I like to bust your nuts about that.
I mean, I've got it all. I listen to it all the time, man. If I get into a John Mayer zone, forget about it. That's all I'm listening to. So that would be kind of a guilty pleasure that people might not expect from me, But
do you light a nice Yankee candle and listen to John Mayer and turn the lights down low?
I usually light. It's like the one that smells like I just cut the grass and like made a fire, burned something.
That's manly. That's super manly. I was thinking something more along the lines of like, a field of daisies or apricots or something.
Well, those are good too. I also like. I'll burn a bacon candle to counteract it.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
They should make a bacon candle.
I think somebody has.
Well, I'm sure out there somewhere.
Well, what's the heaviest thing you got in there?
Oh fuck, dude! I've got like I would say the heaviest thing I've got on there. Oh shit, man.
I've never even heard of that band.
Yeah,
Oh
no,
shit, man.
yeah, it's weird. It's really weird. It's a real fetishy type of band, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure I do.
I figure any band that involves corpse paint would be a heavy band, like Behemoth from Poland.
Oh, that's pretty tough, dude. That's heavy right there.
That's like I don't think this or believe this anything, but they are a satanic black metal band.
Yes, they are. As crazy as it gets.
But I mean, I like some of their songs. Some of it's like that's some of those bands I can only listen to for a little bit where I'm like, oh, okay, all right. I gotta switch over to Imogen Heap.
You're right. I get on a kick every now and then where I always take music off and put music on my phone.
Yeah.
And every now and then I get in that kick where I want to listen to like black metal, but
yeah,
it doesn't last very long.
Yeah, it has its place, but I think I listen to so much different stuff. But for me, it has its place. I mean, sometimes I like to go to the edge, and then I like to come back in, and then I start listening to some mellow stuff. But you got to explore it all.
Absolutely. I would say that probably my heaviest band in my music library, and it's a band that I just recently saw, is Norma Jean.
They're probably a lot heavier than people think they are.
They're much heavier, especially some of their older stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But that was that might be my new most favorite metal show I've ever been to.
Yeah, I've heard they're good live. It's funny. It's like you just like back to back. We'd satanic black metal band with I'm pretty sure they do have some religious like they're a somewhat Christian band. Norma Jean, like they have some aspect of.
You're right. I believe that they are.
That's awesome. So
I didn't even realize I did that, but I did. Yeah. So I went and saw them at a place in Orlando called the Back Booth, and the Back Booth is you've been to my house. It's smaller than my house.
Oh wow, that's probably a hell of a show there then.
And I have seen some incredible shows there, like 36 Crazy Fists. Saw them there.
Man. Yeah,
that was my favorite live show that I'd seen there. But Norma Jean was so good live. The acoustics in there, which is weird to think because it's so small, is incredible when a band has a good system, like a sound, like their equipment's really good.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're able to reproduce the same music that they record, which is, we talked about this before. If you're going to record a music, you should be able to reproduce it on stage because that's what people want to see and hear. It was flawless and so intense, and it was awesome.
Yeah, on some level, you got to be able to take it and play it. I know you're in the studio. I don't care if you use the tricks, but I want to see that you have the talent to to do it in real life, which is
Oh yeah.
And when you do see that, you know when you see it. Like you said, you go to those concerts and you're just like, wow, these guys were great. For me, if we're gonna do that real quick, I mean, one of the best. I've got a couple best shows. Always seeing Fair to Midland, not necessarily the best musically. They were good, but I give them a pass because of how crazy they were, like how much involved with the show they were. I don't know if you've ever seen them, but I mean,
no, but I've heard you guys talk about them.
He would this isn't all at the Machine Shop. I've seen him, which I can never give enough shout outs to the Machine Shop. Speaking of small venues with great sound, I mean, just a great vibe there. I've always loved going there. But he would just climb in the rafters on the pipes, and that's crazy to see. But a band that
that is crazy to see.
I've talked about Gojira before on the show, so I don't want to talk about them. But the band that I saw where I was like, holy shit. These guys, this show was insane. Just the show in general. Mute Math. You ever listened to Mute Math before?
I feel like I've heard it well in your vehicle, but that's about it.
Yeah. Well, they're from New Orleans. They're not heavy at all. They're kind of like I think they might have like some Christian undertones too. But it's like New Orleans, like hard rock jazz. I don't know, man. But I saw them live. I saw them live, and it was like just so on. So everything was so awesome. Like the way their drummer plays. Their drummer gets on stage as soon as he runs to the drum set, puts on this big overhead headphones like we have on, and then he takes a roll of duct tape and duct tapes him onto his head because he plays so violently that he has to have him like that. I caught one of his drumsticks. I saw him at St. Andrews Hall in Detroit, and I just remember leaving that show going, God, man, those guys, that was even better than I thought it was going to be. I'm sure that's how those shows were for you too.
I'll have to check that out. I'm not very familiar with them. Speaking of drummers, I saw, this was obviously pre-children, but that's all I used to do when I first moved to Florida was go, because Lauren would work she'd work late, and it was always on the weekends, and so I'd have to find something to do because I worked during the day. I would go to shows because it was relatively affordable, and I went to the House of Blues a ton in Orlando, and I saw Protest the Hero when they had first kind of hit the scene, kind of big time. And their drummer at the time played on a very, what I'm going to call, minimalistic drum set. Very simple, not extravagant like these Slipknot guys have and so on and so forth, but very, very simple.
Yeah.
But he had a giant afro, and he played the whole set in his underwear.
Yeah. I've seen him.
It was wonderful.
Yeah.
Not the fact that he was in his underwear. I mean, that helped.
Yeah.
But the fact that he was incredible at playing the drums. And just their sound was like, what is this? It's so intense. Yeah. And then for him to be just going ape shit up there in his underwear and an afro was pretty awesome to see.
I saw them first. I went from Central Michigan to Grand Rapids to the Orbit Room in college, obviously, Central Michigan. Nobody wanted to go with me. I tried to get so many people to go with me. They would not go. So I drove there myself to see Avenged Sevenfold and Protest the Hero. I was really, 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 really into Avenged at the time. Like that was the band for me.
I remember those days.
Yeah, I was like so into them. And I remember being front row. I got there early, and I was by myself. It was weird. I traveled that whole trip myself, but never heard of Protest the Hero before. Like it wasn't like it is now, where you can just know about all these bands that are on tours, and before you know it, you see everything before you even know it, and you've heard of bands before you've even actually heard them. So I remember them coming on stage, and I when I left there, not that I was unimpressed with Avenged, because they were really good live. They still are. But I was like, man, these guys were unique. And I remember going home, and I think I illegally downloaded all their stuff, or their album. I ended up buying, I still bought everything they've come out with since, but I remember going home, downloading it all the next morning, showing Adam. I was like, Adam, you got to hear these fucking guys. And then he was into them. So, I mean, that's kind of, I had the same experience you did with him, where I was like, this guy's wearing his underwear.
Yeah, I don't know have you listened to their new album?
Yeah.
It's really good. I didn't like their last one, but this one I really like.
Scurrilous or whatever. Some of the vocals or the lyrics on Scurrilous were just, I mean, I don't like to be so serious all the time, but they kind of get a little goofy. Yeah. I know that, what's his name? Rhodey Walker wrote the lyrics. That usually the bassist wrote all that stuff before, and he had a lot of hand in it. He's a goofy dude, so. But I think I agree with you on both those points. This new one's good, and the Scurrilous was all right, not the best, but
yeah.
So
what's this is something I stumbled upon recently, and I meant to talk about it weeks ago, but like, what's the craziest band name you've ever encountered? Because people get out of fucking hand with the band names. Like, it's like, what is the craziest combination of nouns we can put together to make people go, I'm sorry, what? What did you just say? Your band, what band?
Oh God!
But there's a lot out there.
Oh, for sure.
The one that I saw, like, what I do is I go on my phone and I type in like new releases. Or I go look at the new releases for whatever week it is.
Yeah.
Just to see what's come out. And there was a fucking band called Wizard Rifle.
I saw that.
Wizard Rifle. That's amazing. I never even listened to it. I have no idea what they sound like. I don't even care. You win.
I can't think of anything right now. I'm trying to
there's
think.
There's like I Set My Friends on Fire. Who Wrestled a Bear Once. I mean, all that shit is just fucking crazy.
I'm drawing a major blank on that shit.
There was a band that was out a while, like there's a grindcore band that was out a while ago called See You Next Tuesday.
Oh yeah.
Which of course there's an acronym. See you next. Like, people, that's not even really an acronym. Like, people would say "See you next Tuesday," and it stood for cunt.
Oh yeah.
But I saw them live too one time.
You've probably seen more bands than me. I'm sorry, I can't think of any names that are crazy.
That's all right.
But you said a couple there that I was like, oh yeah, I didn't even think about them. Oh yeah, I didn't even think about them.
You can't beat Wizard Rifle anyway.
No, I mean, how can I top that? I can't top that. I'm not going to try to top that.
Nobody can top that. So we like really went off on a band tangent there, don't you think?
Yeah, thanks for the email.
I apologize if anybody tuned out on that one, but I couldn't help myself.
We
have a lot to say about that shit. Yeah,
it's something we know a decent amount about, and yeah, given the right launching off point, we'll go down that road. So,
Well, I got another email.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this has got 3 questions, but I'm only going to ask 2.
Okay.
And because the second question will segue me into something that just happened. And so the first question is, this is from a woman, and it says, "Why does making out always have to lead to sex?"
I would say, oh goddamn, I don't know. I think it's usually if you're doing it well enough or the right way, hands get placed in certain erotic areas.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
My goodness.
Well, at least in my world, you start to like. It's just it's so physical and kind of primal, I guess. It's just such a coming together that there's almost no other way. Something has to happen after that, or I don't know. Something not good's gonna happen. Somebody's gonna end up in the bathroom, if you know what I'm saying.
So there's no way for me to read between the lines here. I'm not sure if this person is asking me, why does it always have to lead to sex? Because I would rather just make out sometimes, or just very simply, why does it? And so maybe for this person, it always does lead to sex. So I'm not really sure. But so my opinion is that if anytime a man is making out with a woman, he's thinking about having sex with her.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's just plain and simple. And so, if you're asking me, why does it always lead to sex? That would tell me that your assumption that it always leads to sex means that you, female, are also thinking about sex, because if you were not, you would not allow it to go there.
Yeah.
So, if this question is posed in a manner, like I said, I can't tell, that is trying to make the man the aggressor or the one who's always trying to get sex out of it, I would say to you, young lady, it takes 2 to tango.
Oh, it sure does.
And so my opinion is that it only leads to sex when you women allow it, because we always want sex.
Yeah, we're going that direction.
Oh, always.
Yeah, either we get stopped.
If you start making out with me, we're doing it.
Well, that's the assumption. I think that's what happens too. That's on another angle. It's if we get that accessibility, like, oh, we're making out. Like, our heads immediately go to, man, look at me. I can't wait to tell my buddies. Or, you know what I mean? Like, that's like a man's head. It works like that.
Yeah.
You're automatically there. You're skipping all the other bases. That's where we're going. So.
Yeah. So if your question was, how can I make out with my man and have it not lead to sex, don't make out with your man, because it's the minute you give him any ideas that it's going to happen, he's going there. He's going to take it there.
For sure. Yeah, that goes for any man, for the most part.
Any man. So the second question on this email says, why don't guys use toilet paper to dry off after they pee? Shaking doesn't dry it off.
No, it doesn't. Because
that's a really good question.
Well, I don't know why. I think it's because it's what do you wipe? Like what is it?
We don't have to.
Yeah, I mean it's all external. So so what? It gets on your underwear, your boxers, whatever you're wearing, or your whatever. I think it just it doesn't need to be dried because nothing's staying inside. Does that make sense? It's getting weird.
Yeah, I mean, if you're pissing all over yourself, then for God's sakes, dry yourself off, you animal.
Have I done it? Yeah, I have. Sometimes you're like, wow, something's going on here. This is not exactly shaking right off here. But I have done that, but I don't, on occasion, make it habit.
Yeah, I've never used toilet paper to dry off the head of my penis ever.
I guess here I'll tell you. Here's an example. Here's an example right here. I play. There's a pair of gym shorts I have. They're gray, and I play softball in the summer, which I'm probably not going to do this summer because I don't have any time. But I wear gray shorts, and this is like last year. This is when I first realized that I should probably like dab it if necessary, or make sure it's really dry, because I
like the way you said dab it.
dab it. Oh yeah, no wiping involved because there's nothing to wipe. You just dab away. If I take a piss and then like I would just go ahead and tuck it right back in and go out back and play. If I don't make sure it's completely dry, I'll have like a little like a dark gray spot on my gray gym shorts that I wear to play softball. And I didn't realize it until I was out on the field going, "Oh fuck, man! I gotta like." That's when I
Do
realized.
you not wear underwear when you're playing softball?
No, I did. I was wearing them. I wear like my little compression short things, whatever the polyester things I wear, always. And I wasn't like I just like put my dick back in when I was just immediately done pissing. Like I took the shakes and everything, but it was I noticed that it did that.
I'm up to bat. It's time to go. I gotta go.
God, I gotta get back in the field. But that's when I first noticed. This is only recently that I noticed that it's not always all the way gone. So
I was recently asked this by my daughter, because when we go in public, they got to go, and if it's just me, they've got to go with me. And so we'll go into a stall, and I'll be like, "Don't look." And so I'll stand up and pee, and she has to look. She has to figure out what's going on. Like, why does Dad get to stand up and pee? Why? That's not fair.
yeah.
And she straight up asked me, "Why don't you wipe?" And I just said it to her. I was like, "Boys don't have to wipe. Boys are allowed to pee standing up, and they don't have to wipe." And she just can't grasp it.
Well, it's probably it's weird because she's learning one thing and she's going, "Well, how come I don't get to use that? I don't get to do it that way." I can see that confusion.
Yeah. So anyway, hope we answered your questions, young lady. Hope you can sleep well tonight, knowing that boys do not technically need to wipe the head of their dick.
I think that's basically what it comes down to, is we don't have to do it. So anything that
We
a
just don't
guy
have
doesn't
to.
have to do, we will not do.
Amen. So that leads me into something that just happened to me. Something that infuriates me, and I can't figure out why engineers can't get this shit right, or the toilet paper manufacturers. I cannot stand it in a hotel when the backup roll of toilet paper is so big and puffy that the current roll can't spin, and it just breaks off in your hand, and you've got to like collect the squares and wipe with the squares. It's a little fragmented piece of toilet paper that fucking drives me nuts. And so you got to like Hulk smash the backup roll back into the holder so that the front roll can spin freely like God intended it to.
You know how like in like a public restroom, they have, this is how it is at work. We have just multiple stalls with like the commercial grade, toilet paper, whatever. Kimberly Clark, you know what I'm talking about, on the side, those things on the like the huge double.
Yeah.
Like the construction paper, toilet paper.
Single ply.
Yeah, like just absolutely nothing. Like your body's going, what
the
fuck is this? You're gonna use this? That's what like that's like a public stall stuff. But when those rolls are brand new, if you have to switch over to one, if you're an unlucky soul who has to switch over to a brand new public stall toilet paper roll, good luck. Good luck spinning that thing.
No shit.
And at least.
Oh, I see what I did there.
Pun
I didn't do that. I did not do that on purpose.
There you go. We'll start a hashtag. Hashtag pun intended. Let's see what you got.
Hashtag pun intended.
So that's I hear you. It's ridiculous. It's like how have we not overcome this terrible design?
It's like, hey, toilet paper people, take it easy. The rolls don't need to be that big.
No. I think
you're not doing anybody a favor by making gigundous fucking toilet paper rolls. It's not that big a deal. You can just make an average size. You could make half the size toilet paper roll, and I'd still buy your product as long as it's gentle on my hiney.
I think I would vote in the next presidential election for the politician who runs on the platform, or at least part of their platform is no more single-ply toilet paper anywhere in the country.
It should be outlawed. I agree.
You can't. Come on, man. We can't. The public stall toilet paper is so ridiculously. It's like it's embarrassing that that's still a thing that we use. It's
extremely dangerous. It's easy to break through.
Yeah, it's just terrible. It's just like it's ridiculous. So I think it should be. I'm all for government mandates and laws when they make sense, and this one makes sense. Come on, man. Let's get with the times here, man. Get that Charmin bear involved.
Do you ever build a nest, a quote unquote nest, when you go into like a portalet or anything?
There's a guy.
You know what I'm talking about?
There's a guy that I work with that says like, "Oh man, I gotta go make a bird's nest." That's what it means. He's gotta go take a shit. That's the first time I ever heard it was this year.
So the worst thing ever.
3 weeks ago.
The worst thing ever is when you work somewhere where there's a portalet and you have to use the portalet, like you don't have another choice.
Yes.
And it's freshly cleaned out, so it's nothing but the Blue Lagoon down there.
Yeah.
And you got to drop a couple of kerplunkers in there, and the blue liquid will splash up back straight into your butthole. Like that's another one of those science mysteries. Like, how is it that a turd can fall out of your butt, splash in the Blue Lagoon, and before your asshole can close, the blue water splashes right straight up into your hole?
Oh, that's a problem for science. Bill
It's
Nye,
like
the science guy.
It's like, I don't know what the speed of light is, but I would imagine that splash is very close to the same speed because it's faster than my butthole can close.
Yeah, and I think that's a natural assumption. I can go with that.
I just want to be very clear that we went from talking about 80s guilty pleasures to Blue Lagoon portalet splashes into your butthole. So anyway, what I was saying was I used to go in and I would take an entire roll of that single-ply toilet paper and unroll it, not just drop it in the Blue Lagoon, but like unroll it so that so the Blue Lagoon now had an entire roll of toilet paper on it so that whatever kerplunked, it was impossible to splash back up.
Oh, wow, that's a good idea.
That's right. Next fucking president of the United States right here.
I'm voting for you, man.
That's my platform.
I only have like 3 or 4 main things that I would like to have done, and that's one of them. So if you can do that,
I think I can help you out.
I think that would be great, man.
I think I can help you with that.
Oh yeah.
So you've got a pretty good beard going on over there.
You know, this is a long time coming that this beard is on my face. If you would have known me,
you've never shaved, have you? That's taken you all 29 years to grow that.
29 years worth of growth. If you look at if you go to the website or anything where there's a profile picture now, I believe our picture is us 2006 era. You know,
yeah, it's beauty.
So it's an old school picture, which I think is great. But you just look at my face there, like that goatee that I have. It's not even part of it doesn't even go up my, like on my face. It's like underneath my chin because that's all I could do. So that was 2006. So in 7 years, 8 years.
It's pretty good.
I've matured. I've got more chest hair than I ever have. I've got a little bit of back hair. I'm becoming a man.
Oh, right. Yeah. I think you're becoming a man.
I think it's finally happening for me. And
well, do you own any plaid shirts?
You know what? I just started talking to Sammy. This weekend I was like, I need some flannel shirts. It's a common.
So you don't have any?
I don't have any currently, no. But I did for a while. I had a couple that I used to wear like religiously, some flannels. But I think I'm getting to the point now where I can go back to the flannel.
Well, that's great because I own some flannel shirts.
Yeah.
And I also have some facial hair. But the combination of the beard and the flannel shirt now has I'm not going to be able to think of the term that this the term is, but it's now called a lumbersexual. Have you heard that yet? Lumbersexual?
No, I have not. Oh, I like it.
So they're calling this new man who grows out a really long beard. Sorry, Eric's losing his shit over there, and I'm watching him, and it's hilarious. The new man who grows the big beard and wears the flannel shirts, and he's more rugged looking, yet does it intentionally to appear this way, is now considered a lumbersexual.
You know what? You know who's I think it might be one of the pioneers of on television. Al fucking Borland, baby.
You're right. Al Borland was the original lumbersexual.
I gotta shout that. That's one of my favorite shows of all time, man. And
yeah, I mean, it definitely is.
He was definitely a lumbersexual if there ever was a guy. I mean, he wasn't like
I agree, man.
Ripped hipster with a comb over or anything like a shaved head comb over thing, but he was a pioneer. He was ahead of his time. Lumbersexual, no shit, man.
Yeah, look it up. It's real. It's real. I heard it on the radio the other day, and I heard it again today. And I looked up a quick picture of it, and I realized that although I wear it because it's comfortable, I'm a goddamn lumbersexual, and I'm proud of it.
I think I need to join that crew, and then what we need to do is we'll when you get back in town for Christmas, we'll take some pictures. We'll do a little photo shoot, a lumbersexual photo shoot, and then we'll make sure those pictures are available. Because I can tell you right now that we're lumbersexuals. We fit that.
Yeah, and we'll make our beards touch, kind of romantically. We'll hold hands and make our beards touch. It'll be a good one.
I'm into that kind of creative world. Lumbersexual, fuck man. They got terms for everything now, though. A term for everything.
That's what I'm saying. Like, why can't that just be what it was before? Why has it got to have a term now? It used to just be the guys who didn't want to conform. Now they have to be. Now that is conforming. You have to have a term that describes it. Come on.
Yeah, there's something weird about it. Everything has to fit into a label. Even like, I guess
because everybody wants to fit somewhere.
Yeah, and everything.
I don't.
I feel like everything ends up. You know who? I feel like it's all a marketing thing. Like if something's catching on, then whoever wants to cash in on that market will then coin the term to make it seem like, here's where you are. So if you tell somebody they're a lumbersexual, they're like, yeah, whatever, but I guess I fit somewhere. And
well, do you remember when metrosexual came out?
Yeah, and
it was like the guy who was very pretty yet somewhat rugged.
Yeah,
and wore like the deep cut V-neck shirts with he'd wax his chest to look, smooth.
Yeah,
because that's a real man, and I've known a few of those in my day.
Oh yeah, everybody knows those guys. It's like, but is there anything wrong with that though? Like all of a sudden when No. I'm just saying when something gets a term to it, that's when everybody starts to give a shit. One way or the other.
Correct.
Beforehand, it's like nobody cares, and then when it gets labeled, it's like, oh, this fucking Metro dude. Like 2 years ago, before metrosexual was invented,
you're right.
They said that
they shortened it to Metro. So what are they going to shorten this to? Lumber? Oh, dude, that is so lumber.
That's what happens at work when I start
fucking
building
stupid.
Shit. Yeah, I'm around lumber all day. I'll start tweeting some pictures. I'm a lumbersexual at work. I cut fucking wood up all day. Not all day, but
you're a lumbersexual who handles wood all day.
That's right. I am.
Well, that's pretty wonderful.
Yeah. If I wear a flannel shirt to work, I think I might break the world.
Oh, like Kim broke the internet.
Yeah, did you see that? I think I
saw.
What
do you think about that?
I think I saw. We landed on that comet as well at the same day.
Yeah, the same day.
I did see somewhere that there were more. It was more talked. The comet landing was more talked about than Kim Kardashian's photo shoot. So technically, we still have a little bit of edge and intelligence, but
yeah,
man,
very slight.
Part of me's got to give her slight credit for just working the angle of not having any angle to work. Does that make sense? Like she's nothing besides what she looks like and what her name is.
Oh my God, get this. I just heard today that the sex tape that she has with Ray J.
Yeah, I've never seen that.
I haven't seen it either. I have no desire to see it. No, I have not.
I came across it one day. I think
I really haven't.
I saw like a part of it, and I just it's curiosity.
Yeah.
Sorry to my wife.
Maybe I'll look at it tonight before I go to bed. Anyway,
I don't care.
I found out today. Yeah, these aren't my sheets.
Yeah.
I'll soil them.
Yeah, exactly.
I found out today that Ray J has consistently made approximately $30,000 a month off of that sex tape.
Wow.
How fucking absurd is that?
Wow.
$30,000 a month off of that sex tape.
They bought that thing for that much money then, huh?
I just heard that Kim Kardashian is Vivid Video's most talked about actress right now. because of that video and what she just did the other day.
Crazy.
And that, folks, is why we're all fucked.
Yep. Yeah, that's where big money's going.
Yep.
People who actually do legitimate jobs and actually help do things don't make $30,000 a month.
Speaking of jizzing in hotel sheets,
Oh, yes.
how many... I stay in hotels a lot, and occasionally I will find myself paranoid that I am spending the night in what was once a porn set. And I'm concerned with the thoroughness of the cleaning that did or did not take place.
Well, on the thoroughness of the cleaning, I can say there's got to be some things missed because just like everybody hates their job on some days, the cleaning people hate their jobs on some days, and they'll cut some corners because fuck it, I've got to be somewhere. So I'm sure you're getting sheets that are clean, but there's certain things they just don't give a shit about, like, or they don't see, or they're just quickly hurrying in and out of a room.
Have you ever seen where you can take your hotel sheets and fold them so that it looks like it's a body that's wrapped up?
No. Is it
yeah,
online?
so there's a way to like lay your pillows in a line and then roll them up in your sheets and then fold where your feet would be and it looks like you've wrapped up a body. And I did it one time. You're supposed to do it. You're supposed to do it right before you check out or whatever, so that the cleaning people find it. And I did it one day.
I see. I'm looking at pictures of it right now. That's fucking crazy.
So I had to undo it because I was afraid I was going to get in trouble.
Yeah.
Like I was afraid they were going to go, like, call the police and then have the police go, who was in that room? And then stop me, like pull me over on my way to the airport and like detain me and take me to jail and question me about this hoax that I did.
Yeah.
Like, do you think I could get away with it, or do you think I would get in trouble?
I would hope that they would. Oh, you know what? But here's the thing. I'll say that
It looks pretty real, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, I'm looking at one right now. It looks like there's a body in there. Hopefully that they would like touch it or open it up to see what was in it. But if I walked into that, I wouldn't touch that fucking thing. No
Can't
way.
you see some little old Spanish lady coming in, go, hello, anybody, housekeeping? And then she walks in and has a fucking heart attack because it looks like there's a goddamn rolled up body on the bed. I don't want to make some old lady die.
No, you don't. But that's part of the prank, man. I'm just kidding. That's terrible. That's terrible.
So I pussed out. I rolled it up and then I pussed out.
Did you do it? You should have taken a picture of it at least.
I took a picture of it and I sent it to my boss, my old boss.
Yeah.
And then I unrolled it. I don't think I have that picture anymore.
That's pretty crazy. Like I said, I wouldn't touch it though. I'm sure people wouldn't want to touch it.
No. No way.
I'm trying to think of some pranks that we did to people that were like pretty shitty. I can tell you one. I don't think he'll mind me telling the story. He's been previously mentioned on the podcast before, in a certain story that happened on Halloween. He was dating this girl from back home, and we decided that we would call her and tell her on April Fool's Day to call him and tell him that she was pregnant.
Oh, that is not funny.
No, it's not. Knowing now, oh yeah. Even at the time, we were like, "Fuck!" But I remember him taking a phone call, and him being like, it was in the dorm at Central, so we could hear what was going on, and we just heard him go, "Fuck! What do you want to do about it?" And we're like, "Oh, this has already gone too far." And then we wait till he came out, and then he comes out and he goes, "You fucking assholes!" And I was like,
I just want you to know that is funny. I know I said that's not funny, but that is funny.
That was like that's probably the best one I've done.
That's
to
intense,
the point where
though.
it was like, wow, like that's fucking cold. I haven't done anything too crazy, but on pranks, I have that story. I don't know if you've ever done anything like that or any kind of prank, but
yeah, I mean, we used to do stuff. We used to do stuff
yeah.
out. They were more vindictive. They were more like destructive pranks, but never anything like having a female call their male boyfriend or whatever and be like, we're pregnant. Happy Valentine's Day.
Dude, fucked. So
Twins.
that's cold-hearted, but I was 18.
You're a cold-hearted bitch.
Yeah, oh yeah, I'm cold-blooded. Rick James.
I said cold-hearted. I don't think you're cold-blooded.
Well, both. I think cold heart pumps into a cold, or cold blood pumps into a cold heart, baby.
Okay. I'll believe you. I believe you.
I'm just telling you, I'm freezing over here.
Yeah. What else you got going on, man?
Oh, not much, man. Just living day to day,
Yeah.
with kids, man.
Well, I don't have any other. I don't have any other topics. You got anything over there?
Not really. I mean, I wrote a few things down that I had leftovers from last week. I can say this real quick. I'm going to talk about Matthew McConaughey again. I just started watching True Detective. Have you ever watched that show, True Detective?
I was hoping maybe he sent you an email.
No, he didn't. I think he'll leave us a voicemail pretty soon, though. That's what I'm thinking.
I hope so.
That's why I keep talking
Good.
about him. Maybe he'll do it. But have you ever watched True Detective?
No.
I just started watching that on HBO Go from somebody that I know's password to get on there. But the CEO of HBO doesn't
You're
care
a pirate.
He doesn't care that you do that. He said that. He's like, yeah, just go ahead. He's like, you wouldn't buy HBO anyway, so just whatever. I don't care. So I'm like, yeah,
That's funny.
I can't afford that shit. So anyway, I just started watching that show. I don't know if you were watching it or not, but it's it's good.
No.
I recommend it. And anything else? Oh, you know what I can tell you right now? I just popped in my head. A '90s guilty pleasure was Mace. Do you remember Mace, the rapper?
Yeah, he had a good song with Puff Daddy.
Yeah, he was on Bad Boy Records. Just I guess Bad Boy in general was always a cool thing in the '90s, but yeah,
no,
Mace.
Definitely. Puff Daddy when he was just a rapper.
Oh yeah, yeah. Now he's like
Not some old man who's hanging on to his youth.
How old is he?
I don't know. That's a really good question. I bet you he's. Let's take a guess here. I would be willing to guess that Puff Daddy is 47.
Well, I'm gonna look it up.
Are you looking it up? I'm looking it up too.
Yeah, my internet's garbage down here in the basement.
So you can't just type in Puff Daddy in Wikipedia. It actually changes his name. Oh, I was pretty close. He's 45.
You know what? That's a lot younger than I thought, but still pretty old.
Yeah, my first inclination was that he was in his 50s, but then I thought, I think he was pretty young when he hit the mainstream.
Oh yeah.
You know, he was. Well, I guess he was. Yeah, he was in his 20s, I would imagine, because that was 20 years ago. So, God, it makes me want to throw up.
I know. I got one thing that I wrote down for last week that how long we've been at it here? A little over an hour.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, about an hour and 12 minutes.
I mean, if you wanted to get to one more topic real quick, that could take maybe a couple minutes. I could throw this out there and then we could wrap it up.
Yeah, man, what's up?
This is just something I've noticed, and it's kind of a kids talk thing again. But I think that kids using technology, I've noticed with my daughter, it's just like insane what they know how to do. At 2, I'll leave up. She knows how to like grab my phone, open the phone up, unlock it, and like push play on a video on Facebook. I remember she was watching. She was watching a Chris D'Elia video. He does those like little 15-second Instagram videos that are hilarious. And I suggest you follow him on Facebook so you can watch them because they're killer. But
they are.
She was just watching them. He watched one video over and over and over and over, but she knew how to do that. And she was trying to like do the bit along with him. He was like singing a song. But that makes I always hear like, oh, kids they know so much about technology these days, and it's weird that I'm like they should learn that. That's going to be the future. They won't know anything besides what's out right now. This is like entry level stuff to them. So I think there's 2 points I'll make there. One, I think it's great. I think they should learn as much technology as possible. I would never keep that out of their hands.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'd be a benefit for them to use it constantly. And the other thing is, it makes me wonder, like, are kids smarter than like we think they are? Like, or were they limited always by the technology that was out? Like, they can do all this stuff.
Ooh, that's really interesting. I never thought about that.
That's just something that I'm like, man, like they can handle that stuff. Whereas like some people, like, I'm not trying to like segment a population here, but older generations, they don't really, it doesn't make sense to them how to use a smartphone. There's nothing wrong with that. They just don't know it.
Sure.
I know it's muscle memory, whatever. They've never been around it, but my 2-year-old can probably navigate a smartphone better than a 55-year-old guy that has never used one. It has a flip phone. I just like.
Oh yeah, my daughter could probably use her iPhone. Could use my iPhone better than my dad probably.
Yeah, but isn't that weird?
It is weird, and you made a really great point that I'm going to have to really think about. It's very thought provoking. Like, are kids actually smarter than they've ever been allowed to be? You know, like they were limited. They've always been limited to whatever was available to them. But maybe they've always had the potential. Maybe they've always been able to advance faster than they have because they were stifled, so to speak.
Yeah, and there's no fault on anybody. It just wasn't available. You know,
yeah.
It just strikes me as odd to see what she can do and how easily she just grabs the phone and knows how to pull stuff up and knows what. Like I'll be looking at I'll pull up Netflix on the computer or on my TV, and as I'm scrolling, she's looking at the screen like moving her hand like she's trying to move it with her hand.
Yeah.
You know, as I'm moving it, she's like, nope. You know, I mean, I know that's they see how it works, but they're very quick to understand and absorb. But it's just like it blows my mind how quickly
it's interesting
because like shit up.
My mom and my grandma are the only two that I know for sure, but everything they write is in cursive.
Mm-hmm.
Like they don't print, and I have tried to write in cursive. I have tried to write an entire thought down in cursive, and I can't do it.
Yeah, I wonder if I could.
There are letters that I just don't remember how to write.
I could probably do a little bit. I remember having to really do work like that in like elementary school, middle school. I wrote in cursive exclusively for a bit, but when we were at the
back when you were emo.
Yeah, and I wanted to be real sad and like Edgar Allan Poe.
Yeah.
When we were at the NICU at Royal Oak Beaumont with Lincoln when he was first born, we were there for like 5 days. Like I said, he's been a handful since day one, man. Just everything like so opposite of Harper. He like 5 days in the NICU when he was first born, and then so many things. He's just difficult. Yeah. But we were there, and one of the nurses like that place was awesome. I was so happy with that place. But every nurse was great. But one nurse we were talking to, she was just on, one of the night nurses. She was shooting the shit with us for a bit, and she said that they don't. I didn't know this, but they don't teach that in school, or they're going to stop teaching cursive in school. Like it's not even going to be a written form. That's
I think I heard that.
And she said that I'm trying to think of the exact. I might kind of lose this somewhere in the translation. I was exhausted when I heard the story and just like overwhelmed and whatever.
Sure.
Like 4 days of sleeping on a pull-out couch at the NICU at Beaumont, eating hospital food. But she said that somebody she knows, a kid, when she was a kid, she used to write like handwritten letters to her grandma or something, but it was all in cursive. So she tried to get like her neighbor to do it when she was a kid, and she was like, she showed her one of her old letters, and she was like, I can't read, I don't know how to read that. Like it was a different language when she showed her. And she was like, "What? You don't know how to read what this is?" And she's like, "No, I don't understand what those letters are. What is that?" And it's just.
You are absolutely right.
But that was the form. That was the way to go. But I guess on some level
that is mind-boggling.
But do you really need cursive? I don't know. I guess not.
No, I don't think so. Everything's going to be electronic in the future anyway. You'll have to make notes for yourself, but you're not going to, unless you're old school, you're not going to make your own notes in cursive. I don't think.
No. That's why
I don't write in cursive ever.
No. That's why I try to like make every technology available to my 2-year-old because why would that'd be doing a disservice if I tried to like, oh nope, that's not how we do things. Here's how you write cursive. Like, no, fuck that, because it's not even going to be a thing. So I'd rather have her know how to use a smartphone and get on.
It'll be something that they learn. It'll be something they learn in history class.
Yeah.
Because there's no sense in teaching something that's irrelevant. So they're going to be taught things to stay relevant and technologically based, and they may learn about it in English history because they'll be like, look at this antiquated form of handwriting that your grandparents used back in the 1980s.
Yep.
And everyone will laugh, ha 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 ha, the 80s.
they'll say, my dad had a podcast,
Synth
and they
pop.
talked about their favorite 80s songs on it.
Your dad
That's
did a
old stuff.
podcast. What a nerd.
Exactly. That's what people probably say right now. That's what people are saying
Oh,
right
yeah,
now.
for sure. No, I mean, I call you that when you're not around.
I'm a nerd, for real. I nerd out all day.
We know.
No, I think it's it's
know.
cool. I think I'm really excited to see where they go with
Yeah,
what
for
they
sure.
go with the technology. I think it's
I'm
cool.
scared and terrified, so.
Oh, for sure. There's a lot of things that scare me because what's on the internet, what I know is on the internet, is going to be so accessible.
Oh, baby.
Being a parent now is different than being a parent in '85 when I was born. It's just going to be a different thing. So it's hard to. It's nice to take advice, but it's also hard to take advice because you're like, I know that's how it was, but it's kind of different. We got an way more open society, so
Yeah.
it's just interesting. I just thought it was an interesting thought that popped in my head the other day when she was. Because she'll look at my computer screen if there's a video on Facebook or something that she wants to, it'll have like a little play logo. And she'll try to touch it like that's how you play it. And I'm like, I'm actually behind the times on what you think this should be. Because it's just a
That's
laptop
funny.
and you can't touch the screen. So I'm like, man, they're smart. Kids are so smart. And I think they're smarter than they think everybody thinks they are. So,
Yep.
just a little tidbit I'd end with.
Just a little juicy nugget to think about before you go to bed tonight.
Oh, yeah, think about that. I hope you have a dream about that, and then wake up and you design the next hover car.
You want to get out of here, buddy?
Yeah, I got to get up early and twerk the day away tomorrow. You know how I roll.
Well, for anybody who's listening to this whole entire podcast, I'm going to tease the next podcast by saying that I think I'm going to tell the story where I get my teeth knocked out
Yes.
on episode 13.
Yeah.
So that happened. And if you listen all the way to this podcast, you will know what to look forward to on episode 13. And thanks for listening. And shoot us an email, show@hotbutterpodcast.com. We want to get some more listener interaction. Thanks for listening, guys.
Yep, that was definitely fun. We appreciate the emails and the time you spent listening to us ramble. And we'll talk to you next time.
Later.
See ya.
Hop on it, 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 h it.